Over the last half year, my life has taken a steady downturn. It all started several years ago when I fell deeply for the sister of a coworker. Blinded by emotion, I rushed into marriage with a smile on my face, convinced I had found the woman of my dreams. At the time, I didn't pause to consider whether I truly knew her. I now see that I was in love with an illusion, projecting everything I longed for onto someone who simply fit the image. She played her part well, looked the part, acted the part, but I never saw who she truly was beneath the surface. If there's anything to be learned from this, it's that knowing someone takes time. Don't let infatuation cloud your judgment. Sheila had a way of making a man feel like he was the center of the universe. She had charm, warmth, and a gift for making people feel seen. Or so I thought. Now, I understand she was simply skilled at manipulation, doing whatever it took to get what she wanted. She fooled everyone, not just me. But the real shock came when she stopped pretending. Her affection slowly faded until she became a stranger, emotionally distant, cold, and disconnected. The change didn't happen overnight. At first, it was subtle. Then, without warning, it hit me like a flood. She began spending more and more time out with friends, though I was certain they weren't really her friends. Most of them barely tolerated her but kept up the act for my sake. It was obvious something was wrong, and I couldn't ignore it any longer. That's when I contacted Harvey Madison, a private investigator. Deep down, I already knew the truth, but I needed confirmation. I wanted evidence, not just suspicion. Within a week, Harvey gave me everything: photos, videos, undeniable proof that Sheila had been living a double life. It hurt more than I thought it would. I felt betrayed, used, and humiliated. Still, I didn't let emotion cloud my next steps. I booked 2 appointments immediately. One with my doctor, for a full panel of STD tests, and another with a divorce attorney. Seeing the footage of your spouse in bed with someone else is soul-crushing. It doesn't just speak, it shouts. My attorney was practical and calm. He advised me not to confront her yet, not until the legal groundwork was laid. He even offered some advice for avoiding intimacy in the meantime. Apply onion juice under your eyes to create fake tears. That way, if she noticed something was off, I could explain it away as stress. We even joked about me taking a business trip. Ridiculous as it sounded, it worked. From that point forward, everything was set in motion. I began mentally preparing for the moment I would confront her. Would she cry? Deny everything? Blame me? Or would she admit it all and lash out? Whatever it was, I was ready. I even found myself looking forward to the confrontation, imagining how satisfying it would feel to watch her reaction when I revealed what I knew. A week later, the moment arrived. I came home to find a luxury car parked in our driveway. I recognized it from the photos Harvey had shown me. Though I'd never met the owner, I knew exactly who it belonged to. I parked down the street, walked up to the door, and stepped inside. There they were, Sheila, smiling like nothing was wrong, and the man who had been posing as just a friend. "Sit down, Bill. We need to talk," she said. I kept a straight face, but inside, I was practically grinning. I knew this would happen. I had rehearsed it in my mind. "Sheila, we've been married for 3 years, known each other for 4. You've been unhappy for the past year. And for at least that long, you've been having an affair. That sound about right?" I asked. She paused, then nodded. "Yeah, that's about right." I wasn't surprised. I told her I had suspected long before she decided to bring it up. She looked at me with a strange kind of calm. "I'm leaving you, Bill. I want a divorce. I'm entitled to half of everything, but if you don't make things hard, I won't take more than I deserve." I replied with forced politeness, hiding the sarcasm beneath my tone. "How generous of you." She immediately cut in, saying she didn't want to argue. "This marriage isn't working anymore. I'm done." "Good," I said, then turned toward the man next to her. "And who's this?" I asked, though I already knew. Sheila tried to maintain control. "Don't be rude, Bill. This doesn't help you." I looked at her, then at him. No need for introductions. I know exactly who he is. She seemed irritated, but tried to keep composed. "He's just here for support." "I offered support," she said, and I couldn't help but chuckle. Support, Sheila? Really? What exactly do you think you've done that counts as moral support? I asked, raising an eyebrow. She squirmed in her seat, clearly uncomfortable. I didn't plan for this to happen, Bill, she said quietly. It just did. I've tried to be a good wife. I've tolerated your flaws in the bedroom. I've made your meals. I've taken care of you. But I deserve more than that. Oh, so that's your justification, I said, my voice calm but cutting. You had me hire a private investigator. Remember that? He spent a full week tailing me around. And you never expected I'd catch on. She stayed quiet, eyes darting away. I wasn't about to let it drop. I turned my attention to Henry, who had been trying to disappear into the background. So, Henry, I said, does your wife Barbara know about this little affair with Sheila? The color drained from his face instantly. He sank into the nearest chair, stunned. Sheila stood frozen beside him, mouth slightly agape, but no words came out. I leaned back, letting the silence settle like dust. I'll take that as a no, I said. Then I glanced at my watch. She'll probably be finding out right about now. The panic in Henry's expression was undeniable. He had clearly not prepared for this kind of fallout. I pressed on. Tell me something, Henry. Do you really believe that a woman who cheats on her husband can be faithful to her lover? Sheila started to shake. I walked over to the table and picked up a few glossy photos. Here, Henry, I said, handing him a stack. That's Sheila with a man named George Ellison. Taken last Tuesday. Henry's reaction was instant. Shock, horror, then fury. He couldn't even form a sentence. And I wasn't finished. Yes, Sheila, I said. George is also getting a copy of those photos right now. So is his wife, Peggy. You're not the only one turning lives upside down. Sheila's face went ghostly white. I wonder what George is going to say to you at work. Considering he's your boss, things might get awkward come Monday, don't you think? Right then, the phone rang. I smirked. That might be George now. You should probably answer. I'll keep Henry company. She didn't move. Just stared at the phone like it might explode. I shrugged and pulled out another set of photos. Maybe you'll want to look at these instead, I said, handing them to her. That's Henry. With his secretary. Looks like you weren't the only one with a side project. She finally showed some emotion, disbelief mixed with hurt, as she stared at the images. I gave her a moment, then spoke again. So let's summarize, shall we? I said evenly. You've been cheating on me with Henry. Now his wife Barbara knows. Henry's been cheating on you with his secretary. You've also been seeing George behind Henry's back. And now George's wife Peggy knows. I've got pictures of you and Henry, and of Henry and the secretary. Everyone involved now knows the truth about who they married. I paused briefly before adding, oh, and I got tested. Still waiting on results. You should probably do the same. I leaned closer, my voice low and steady. Barbara's filing for divorce. Peggy likely will too. And George? He's probably preparing to fire you. I also sent those pictures of you and George to your company's HR department, along with a lawsuit for what you two were doing during work hours. So don't expect to have a job by Monday. I turned to Henry, who was looking like a man already defeated. And you, I said. You can wipe that smug grin off your face. It's not going to help you now. Silence followed. The kind that weighs down a room like concrete. I walked into the kitchen and grabbed a beer, letting their stunned voices fade into the background. When I returned, Henry was gone. Sheila was sitting on the couch, completely still. I took a breath to stay calm. No shouting. No scenes for the neighbors. I handed her a folder. These are divorce papers. Read them. Get a lawyer. Sign them. If your lawyer doesn't contact mine soon, we'll be handling this in court. This is a no-fault state, I added. So everything gets split down the middle. But don't think for a second I won't send those pictures to your parents, your sister, your extended family, everyone who's ever known you. I let the words sit before continuing. And if you thought I'd be the one moving out, you're wrong. This is my house. I'll be staying in my bed. You can take the guest room until the divorce is finalized. My tone sharpened. And if you ever bring another one of your friends into this home, know this. I will react. And it won't be pretty. I'll follow the law, but I won't be humiliated in my own house. Don't test me on that. The next morning, she was gone. I didn't ask where. I didn't care.